Yeah, mate, we got hards on. We're going to the end.
Podcasts. I know, I'm so original. On Formula One. Yeah, I thought Formula One podcast. Like, I would be surprised if anyone ends up listening to this. It's just something I feel like doing, really. I'm not going to put much effort into it. I'm just going to speak about it each week after a race. If there's not a race, then I'll be struggling to think of stuff. But it's late, and sometimes I just have these ideas. Like, just start it. You know what I mean? Like, weird concept, but like the other time, a couple of weeks ago, it was like late, and I just had this like burst of, oh, I need to make something Formula One related, and I sat here and I filmed basically an argument. Maybe I'll post it one day. An argument about who's better, George Russell or Lewis Hamilton. What was weird about it is that I was having the argument with myself. So I sat here on one side of the sofa and argued for George Russell, and then sat on the other side of the sofa and argued for Lewis Hamilton, and then just cut it so in the video it looks like I'm sitting next to myself arguing with myself, and edited so I'm over speaking over myself, and just off of a late night hunch, you know. So here we are. I mean, this isn't as anywhere near as much work as that was. So this shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I'm just gonna do like one podcast a week and try and limit myself to that, because I'm already like trying to post like every other day, if not daily, on the football channel, which I recently started, and then the movie stuff, which usually is where most of my effort goes in terms of like, editing and stuff. So this, in terms, just to keep my mind at ease, that it's not going to be an extra bit too much extra work. It's just going to be one podcast a week. Although I guess for this week it's technically two, because it's like an introduction thing, and I haven't got like a cool name for this either that's Formula One themed, because I'm just like overtaking my old podcast name, which was the Neighborhood Watch, which has nothing to do with Formula One. Really, I'll make it work. I'll make up some fake excuse. Like, I've not got like a I was thinking before, and like of like Formula One names. I can't like the pit stop, you know, like the what? Come on, the like if you was a drag if you're a drag queen, right, and you want to do a Formula, this might already be a thing. If you're a drag queen and you want to do a Formula One podcast, like surely the F1 drag race is a great name, or the drag reduction system or something is a great name. Unfortunately, I don't want to do that, so those names won't work. What does ERS stand? I'm just trying to think of what a good name would be for a Formula One podcast that's not already taken. Oh, the Black and White Flags podcast. I'm black and white mixture, technically. I was going to say the Black and White Flag podcast, because I listened to a podcast called The Red Flags. I thought black and white flags, you get a black person and a white person, they talk about Formula One. Nothing to do with race. I'm just trying to think of smart names for a Formula One podcast, I guess. Black and White Flag podcast. Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe I'll just keep a Neighborhood Watch, because I'm clearly not an idea. Well, I think I like to. No, I'm not. I was gonna say I like to think I'm an ideas man, but I think I've just exposed myself. Yeah, we got USA coming up, and we've had USA already. We had Miami. What have we had? What's the other one? Is Vegas this year or next year? I don't remember. Because there's meant to be 3 races this year. One's Texas, where all my exes live. The other one's Miami. I don't know what the other one is. I mean, New York, to me, concrete jungle where races are made of. That's got to be done one day, but doesn't like it's happening anytime soon. So I guess for this week and this week alone, we can do a little preview. Maybe we can do a preview every week. Maybe I'll do 2. This is what happens. It starts off with like, okay, it's not going to be too much stuff. Just one a week. You ain't got to think about it too much. It's literally just sit down for half an hour and upload it, and don't even think about it. Don't even look at it after that. And then all of a sudden I'm 6 minutes into the to ep 1, and I'm like, maybe I should do 2 a week, and it's already starting. But no, it's USA. I mean, it's shit. Firstly, it's a terrible time to start a Formula One podcast with like 5 races to go in the season, and the season's done. I'm actually a terrible marketing man, aren't I? It's like starting a Christmas business in January. Like, oh, I just had a really great idea. I'm gonna start my Christmas tree business on like December 31st. Like, it's not the best idea. So yeah, not Lewis Hamilton. Max Verstappen's already won the race championship. Forgot what it's called. It was pretty shit, wasn't it? Like at the start of the season, Leclerc looked like he had it, and it's like, oh, we're gonna get like a different winner, like two different winners in different years. Like that'd be exciting, especially because the sport is usually like it's dominated by one person for a long period and dominated by someone else for a long period. And that's what it's. Obviously, I got short-term memory into this sport. Like I'm a DTS enterer, so I entered via the drive to survive. So for as long as I can remember, it's just been Hamilton winning and Verstappen winning. And I thought, oh, it might be fun. And even if Verstappen wins, it'll be fun if he gets like a challenge with both Leclerc. But Ferrari are a bunch of clowns, and that didn't end up that way. And Max won basically. And if Max wins next year, I mean, that's just going to be shit, isn't it? Like, I'm bored of it already. Like, I get how it must have felt now, because when I jumped into the sport, I think it was halfway through the COVID season, and it was like people all going on about how they hated seeing Hamilton win, whereas I was sitting there seeing it for the first time being like, well, I'm English, I like Hamilton, and he's breaking records, and he's like becoming the GOAT in front of my eyes. This is kind of cool. And I didn't really think too much about it. And then the next season is the one where Verstappen won for all the controversy. Michael Massey, Michael, this is not right. Michael, wait, we went motor racing, Toto. That thing. Then he gets the sack. And Max wins. And then even 2 years into what looks like just domination, I'm starting to get it now. Like, domination is not fun unless you're into that. I'm not shaming you if you like dominate. Anyway. Let's keep it safe for episode 1. I mean, if I let you know who like I support in terms of the drivers, because it's a weird thing compared to football. Football, it's like, you know, you have one team. It's tribalist. It's like you stick with that team. You don't sway. You don't switch teams. If a certain player leaves that team, you don't then support a different team because you like that player. Like, you're there from a young age, and you're there for life through rainy days and sunny days, through the mud, you're there, right? Whereas Formula One is like very different. It gives me more the vibe of American sports. Like, in terms of the teams, I don't give a fuck about cars. Like, I don't know shit about cars. Like, I don't have any type of affiliation or affection for Ferrari or Mercedes. Like, these are just such, like, they mean nothing to me. It's like, to support a team with just like, I can't even imagine doing that. It was so boring. Immediately, this is like the type of thing where it's like I support a driver, which is like in football, if you're like, oh, I don't support a team, I support a footballer. Everyone's like, boo, leave, go away. Like, okay, like, you know what? Not go away, but like, if we're having football discussion and you come in and you're like, oh yeah, I'm not really a football fan, I'm kind of just like, I support Ronaldo. Everyone's kind of just thinking, right then, sure. Whereas in Formula One, it's a little bit more acceptable, which I like at least, because I just don't give a fuck about, like, oh, I'm an Alpha Tauri fan. Thick and thin, Alpha Tauri, cut me open, Alpha Tauri is what I bleed. To be fair, you don't really want to be going around these days saying you bleed Tauri, because it might sound like something else. If you know what I'm saying. Tory. You bleed anyway, I mean, I'm wearing blue. Anyway. Political jokes. I'm here all week, guys. I actually am. It's sad. Yeah, in terms of drivers I back, Lando Norris. It's my guy, man. We've been through thick and thin, though. I'm begging it hard. Lando, you know, he's actually why I know about the sport even, to be honest, because he kind of bridged the gap to sort of people who weren't really in Formula One, but like watched on social media, watch YouTube and shit, because he streams and that's how I kind of got into it. So Lando Norris, always backing, wanting to win. You know, shout out Russia. Wait, that that is a mad thing to say out of context. Shout out. What was it called? What's the Russian track called? I don't remember. I can't remember. Where what I was trying to say is the race where he was gonna win and then he fucks it in Russia. I was saying shout out that moment. So yeah, I really like Ricciardo. It looks like he's not gonna be in the sport anymore. And I like Ricciardo because he's just pantomime. He's fucking drama. He's fucking, like, when he wins, it's cool. It's like he's on the car. He's banging his chest. He's delivering lines. Like, it sounds like his lines were written by like like a script writer. You know what I mean? Like in a movie. Like if you were making a movie of Max Verstappen's life, like the script writer would have to like zhuzh it up a bit, because he's not like he's a hot-headed guy in the car and stuff, but he's not like the most. He's not the best for the screen, you know what I mean? Whereas Ricardo's ready to go. They wouldn't have to change much any dialogue for that movie. They could pluck stuff straight out of real life. He's just good like that. He makes you feel your shivers when he wins. People like Perez, when they win, it's kind of a bit of a snooze fest, I'll be real. But anyway, I like Ricardo for that reason, although he has been underperforming pretty much for the entirety I've known him, unfortunately. Although he was decent in the Renault, I guess. I mean, I've been backing Lewis, because in the first season, I kind of didn't like Lewis. I did not like him. He was winning, and I was kind of happy when he won, just out of being English and that. But I kind of found him just a bit like... What do I say? He was a bit boring, he was too media friendly and was too safe and that, because he was just winning. There was no reason not to be. But then this season, I saw a different side of him. Like, you see a bit more fight, a bit more pettiness, I guess, a little bit more fucking anger. And kind of just he's being himself more, because he's like, I'm not going to fucking win. Fuck it. We're just going to go out there and drive and do whatever. It's a write-off of a season. It made me like him more. So Lewis is up there for me nowadays. So I like most of the drivers. In terms of the ones I really back, though, it is like Lando and Lewis. And I like Albon. In terms of the people I don't really back, it's George Russell, kind of. And it's so weird because, like, it's such a quick turnaround. Like, I really liked him at Williams. It's just the classic, like, small dog, big dog. Like, he was at Williams and he was like, oh, it's little George. And then he jumps in the Mercedes, and I just thought, it's little George. But now little George is in the Mercedes, and he's giving it the big un. And remember who you're sitting next to, my dear. Remember. What other driver? I mean, Gasly's one of them people who's like, I want to like Gasly, but people like him too much that I don't like him now. You know what I mean? Like, online and stuff, the amount of love people have for Gasly, which I just find so unwarranted. Like, I'm just going to say it. Liked by Pierre Gasly would make you hate a man. Would make me hate Pierre Gasly. Okay, so Pierre Gasly likes a lot of stuff on Instagram. Okay, and then that in itself can be funny for a short while. But the amount it got rinsed out, the merch made out of it, when like commentators of the sport and like social media accounts start jumping onto like internet jokes and doing it, it's just like, this is when it should be cringe, but people are still loving it, and it's still like Gasly's, oh, we love Gasly, and it's just like, he's just not that interesting, and he hasn't really done anything that fun in a car in a while, and it's just like, his stocks are way too high for what he's actually been achieving recently and what he's actually like personality-wise. Because when it comes to Formula 1, when it comes to football, it's like, it comes down to one thing. Are you like a sick baller? And that's all that matters. Are you a sick finisher? Are you skillful? It doesn't really matter. Like, Harry Kane is not interesting. He's not fucking life and soul of the party. Doesn't matter though, because he can put the ball in the back of the net. Whereas when it comes to drivers, it very much feels like, okay, you can drive good, but can you talk good? Can you talk the talk? It's like, okay, you can walk the walk. Usually the phrase is you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? For me in the Formula 1, it's like, okay, you can walk the walk. Okay, you're all half decent drivers, but can you also talk the talk? Can you also make me feel something? At the end of the day, you're just driving around in little machines. Can you make me care? You know, and which of the drivers can make me care? And Gasly just don't do it enough for me. I'm going to be real. Who else in there do I like? I'm really happy De Vries is got his chance in the car. I love how he came in and you just like got the points in his first ever race. Outdid like, did Albon get it in his like second race? I think he outdid like Albon. He outdid Russell by ages. I know it's like a better car now. And then Russell started, outdid Latifi, who just Latifi, but he'll be gone now. Yeah, De Vries. Because I remember when I was like looking back at F2 stuff, and obviously when you're new in Formula 1, there's like certain questions you have, and it's like, one of the first things you find out is, are all the cars like, the cars aren't the same, they're not the same. Some cars are quicker, right? Well, immediately that feels weird. That's the first thing you kind of got to get your head around. And then secondly, it's like how people get into the sport, and then when you realize people can get in through money, that's also like kind of weird. Like, when I found out, like, wait, you can win Formula 2 and then not just go into Formula 1. So you can be like the best driver by a country mile leading up into what is the pinnacle of the sport, and then the guy who finishes 5th gets in ahead of you. And that was just, to me, I was like, what? So like, I was looking back and like Nick De Vries, he won F2, right? And I was just thinking, wait, seemed like he had all this talent, but just timing. Because like Lando Norris, Albon, Russell all get into Formula One first, second, and third. De Vries finishes first, I think, doesn't get in. And I was just like, he's out here having to do like Formula E and that, and he's bided his time. Fair play to him. I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's in the sport finally. If I had to do my predictions for the race on the weekend, I will say, I mean, who gives a fuck? Let's be real. Like, the race, it's so... The season is done. You know, it feels like nothing matters. And with football, it's like, okay, if City have won the league with 7 games to go or something, it's like, okay, well, who's going to get top 4? Who's going to get relegated? Whereas this is like, it's done. Like, do people genuinely care about stuff like... I think the constructors is probably done already, right? But do people actually care about things like the constructors? Do people care about if Perez is second, or if Leclerc is second, or if Sainz is fourth? Or if, like, do people care about this stuff? Like, it's just going to be like a fun thing and stuff. But like, I don't know. Like, there's just nothing... I've been waking up at like 7 o'clock in the morning and stuff with like certain races. And I probably still will do if there's a couple more early morning stuff. But not with the same vim. Like, if I miss one... I'll be annoyed I missed it, but it won't be the same. How long is it in between seasons as well? Like, how long we got to wait for a new season now? Because I feel like they like to take the goddamn sweet time. So, for the rest of the season, I'm just kind of hoping for drama and pantomime, and I want to see people getting their first wins, their first podiums. I just want to see some fun. I want to see people crashing out. Nothing dangerous, no one dying, no one getting fucking, driving in, nothing bad. But just I want to see, what I mean is, like, I want to see Verstappen slipping off track, finishing P18. I want to see Norris up there, get a win. I want to see like Albon finish on the podium. I want to see Bottas. Do I actually want to see Bottas win, or do I not give a... Do I not care? I want to see like Bottas 1-2 with Hamilton or something fun. I want to see some kind of storyline. It's like, oh, that's kind of sweet. Like, used to be teammates 1-2, and now they're 1-2 separate. Or like, I want to see like Hamilton, Verstappen, like going at it like lap after lap or something, because like it's a good track, good for the Mercedes. I want to see fun. You know how like the last lap was at Silverstone? Fun, man. And through goes Hamilton, like on the outside, and Leclerc comes back at him and stuff, and then he ends up, should have won. And the amount of times, by the way, can we talk about Mercedes real quick just before we finish this? The shit strategists that Mercedes are, so bad. They're underrated, actually. Like, I can't tell if they're bad or if, like, Red Bull do not make mistakes. Very rarely. They are like perfect at pit stops and perfect at strategy, and everyone else is just so far behind. Like, I'd arguably, like, I don't even know, like, would I put McLaren like on the, like, at least the same level with Mercedes? I don't know, because Mercedes so many times have just shown to me they don't know how, like, well, this season in particular, so they've just had no clue of what they're doing. They've tried, like, Lewis Hamilton is your number one. I hate this whole bullshit. This whole, like, we got to dance around the fact about we haven't got any number ones here. We let them race. It's all, no, fuck off. Like, it's about winning, man. Like, who is your better driver? Hamilton's the better driver. Yes, Russell's ahead in the championship, but I think if you've actually watched the season, Hamilton's had the stronger season. Like, Hamilton had worse results. I mean, when George did finish above him, the point gap was big enough that he has this lead. But Hamilton, I think, has the more podiums. He's outdone him in qualifying. He's probably outdone him in, like, race finishes. It's just that George's race finishes have been higher, like, in terms of the gap difference. Like, you got to know what to prioritize. And George Russell being like, I want to go ahead. I want to try and get a podium. It's like, you got a guy who could win the race here, man. Come on, like. And I expect better from Toto. I'd expect better from this guy. Like, I thought you were ruthless, man. Like, you're at the top of your game, and you're getting bummed by Horner on a weekly and bi-weekly basis. Like, just do more for me. Do more for me. But yeah, I don't know. What would be fun is, like, obviously I'm not expecting anyone to, like, listen to these podcasts or anything, but what would be cool is if eventually people do, and then we can start, like, talking to actual, other people into F1. You know what I'm trying to say? Collaborations, because a bit of debate is fun. I definitely have some hot take opinions, I think, on certain things when it comes to Formula One, because I'm definitely in the sport for the vibes. I'm not technical with it. I don't care about the cars really. I'm in it for the fun of it. The going around, the storyline, the drama. Less so about the engine and the VHWC and the DRS and that. It's just completely made up. And the fucking chassis. Honestly, I was like 18 months into Formula 1 and they kept going on about chassis. I was like, chassis is the most, like, what's the... not innuendo, what's the right word? Like, chassis, to me, when I heard the word chassis for the first time, I was like, can they even say that on live TV? Like, what is a chassis, right? Chassis sounds like, I was like, this sounds like the most what is this? Chassis. And they just kept saying it again and again, and I just never looked into it. It's like the side pod on a car or something, but I was like, why is it called a chassis? In my head, it was like, imagine a piece of the car was called... That's not good. You know what? I don't even want... You guys get what I'm trying to say. Let's not even go to what I'm thinking of. Which you probably don't even... Anyway. This has been fun, hasn't it? My voice is so fucking dry. It's pretty late. But we've been going for like 23 minutes. We'll do this weekly. We're going to just talk Formula 1, guys. We're just going to have convo on Formula 1. If you listen to this on Spotify... you're a legend. If you listen to this on YouTube, you're a nice guy. And if you're listening to this on SoundCloud, get the hell off this platform. Get on Spotify, YouTube. What are you doing right now? Come on. But yeah, subscribe, I guess. Like, that's appreciated, and comment stuff. Let's talk F1. And that's all. See you guys. Bye.